Yeah.
Yung sa three-part series.
Yeah, yung 1, 2, 3. I would have started with 24, 23, 24, 25. I wouldn't have started with 25 then jump back to 24.
And because may 100 billion na insertion, he surmised that 25% of that should have gone. That's what he's saying.
Yes.
All right.
So no conflict kay Yusek Bernardo.
Nako, matindi ho ito mga kababayan. Mismong si dating Senator Miriam Defensor ang nagbulgar sa pagiging character assassin nitong si Lacson. Dito sa video na to, panuurin ho natin ang kanyang interview sa GMA7 nung nabubuhay pa siya. Noong senador pa siya, na kung saan isiniwalat niya na ho ang kabuktutan nitong si Lacson. Naloko ho nitong si Lacson ang sambayanan na kung saan pinakita niya, ipresenta niya ang kanyang sarili bilang tagapagtanggol ng sambayanan, tagapagbantay ng kaban ng bayan. Sa kabila ho niyan mga kababayan, base sa ating nakikita ngayong mga panahon na to, kinakampihan niya, puro kabuktutan. Pero bago ho yan, isang like at isang subscribe, masaya na ho tayo dyan. At sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community, yung join button, nandyan lang ho sa baba. Ito ho mga kababayan, ika nga magkakaalaman na kung anong klase nga bang senator itong si Lacson, di ba? Kasi ang ipinapakita ho niya sa sambayanan, akala mo kung sinong santo, akala mo kung sinong talagang may malasakit sa sambayanan. Dito ho mga kababayan, hindi na ho para tayo ang magsabi kung anong klaseng tao yung si Ping Lacson. Hindi ho sa sinisiraan natin siya. Sambayan ng Pilipino, nakita nyo ho kung paano niya katigan ng Malacanang. Kesa doon sa mga kababayan nating nalubugan, nahirapan, nanakawan. Dito kay Lacson, ngayon pa lang, inosente na itong si Marcos Jr. Wala pa hong nag-umpisang tamang investigation, proper investigation para ma-rule out ang innocence ng mama. Ngayon pa lang ho mga kababayan, rinule out na ho ni itong si Lacson na ginamit lang itong si Marcos Jr. Meron ho kayong makikitang pattern dito sa sasabihin na to nitong si dating Senator Miriam Defensor. Pakinggan ho natin to mga kababayan. Game!
Ni Senador Miriam Defensor Santiago ang mungkahi na italagang special independent investigator si Senator Ping Lacson.
Anong sinabi ni dating Senator Miriam Defensor? Ulitin ho natin. Kinwestiyon kasi mabilis lang ho yun.
Kini-question ni Senador Miriam Defensor Santiago ang mungkahi na italagang special independent investigator si Senator Ping Lacson kaugnay sa pork barrel scam.
Halimbawa, itong Lacson na ito, maliwanag na kampi niya si Enrile.
Nako po.
Kasi noong nag-away kami ni Enrile tungkol doon sa mga Christmas bonuses na yon, na ayaw ipalitaw ni Enrile. Hinamon ko si Enrile, magdebate kami. Yan. Ang sumagot si Lacson.
Nako! Para ngayon. Imbis na sagutin ng Pangulo yung pagiging addict niya daw di umano base sa kanyang kapatid, ang sumasagot at ang nasasaktan ngayong mga panahon na to, walang iba kung hindi itong si Ping Lacson. Anak ng tokwa, nabudol. Anak ng Petrang Garapata, kaya pala ang pinakamagandang legasiya nitong mama na to, yung tinatayo na napakamahal na Senate building na nagkakahalaga ng bilyon-bilyon. Habang ang mga Pilipino walang pambili ng gamot, ayun, napakagandang ideya, magpatayo ng bagong Senate building. Palakpakan ho natin. Pambihira, oo.
Bakit po sa tingin ninyo unfit itong si Senator Ping Lacson para maging special independent investigator kaugnay sa pork barrel scam, ma'am?
Ping Lacson.
Kailanman kami sa Senado, hindi nag-appoint ng investigator and there is no provision in our Senate rules for that. This is an innovation being proposed without any legal basis. Alam mo, ang suspetso ko dito ay itong mga nasangkot na senador sa PIDA na mga NGOs na peke daw, itong iba dito, mga potential presidentiables or vice presidentiables sa 2016.
Nako!
Ayaw man natin o gusto natin sila, hindi pa natin alam kung may kasalanan sila o hindi. Natural, gusto nating lumitaw ang katotohanan. The fact is, they are eyeing the presidency. Maaga pa gusto, sirain na ang magiging katunggali nila sa 2016.
Sounds familiar! Sounds familiar, my friend. Maaga pa lang, gusto na nilang sirain yung mga kanilang makakalaban sa 2016. It sounds familiar. Siya ngang tunay, ika nga nung pare ko. Di ba? Anak ng Petrang Garapata. yung pattern na ginawa nila bago 2016 election, siya ngayong nakikita ho natin ngayong magti-2028 election. Hindi lang ho natin nakita yung mga ganyang klaseng kagalawan noong panahon ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, 2022 presidential election. Kasi ho, hindi ho siya magnanakaw. At hindi ho siya nag-i-interest ng kung sino-sino man ang paupuin niya pagbaba niya. At wala ho siyang dapat pagtakpan sa kanyang nagawa, sa kanyang administrasyon. Ito ho mga kababayan, kailangan ho talaga. Kaya yan si Lacson at itong si Soto, ibang klase ho mga kababayan. Daig pa ang security guard netong si Marcos Jr. kung ipagtanggol siya dyan sa Senado.
Kaya kung lagyan mo ng investigador na laban na antimano, kaya magiging character assassin itong Lacson na ito. Kasi yung political cara is very, very complex. It's very truncated.
Correct.
Dapat yan.
Ano sabi niya? Kaya magiging political assassin itong Lacson. Yak, Lacson, noon pa lang pala talaga, ganyan ka na. Hindi ka na nagbago, anak ng toko. Ilang beses ka na naging senador. Napaka-kups mo pa. Hindi ako nagsasabi niyan. Ang napakahusay na presidente na hindi naging presidente. Siya ho dapat ang isa sa mga naging presidente ng ating bansa. Naging presidente, nadaya lang, higa nga. Alam nila, hindi rin siya makokontrol ng Amerika kaya ganyan nangyari. Diba? Ganyan lang naman ho yan mga kababayan. Pagka ikaw hindi ka na-control ng Amerika, presidente ka ng Pilipinas, sigurado, lahat ng international news, wasak ka sa mga yan. Local news, wasak ka sa mga yan. Kagaya ginawa nila kay Dati Digong. Hanggat maaari kung pwede nilang dayain ang eleksyon, kung alam lang din nila makokontrol itong presidente na to, dadayain at dadayain nila. Hindi lang nila nagawa kay Tatay Digong. Kaya dito kay VP Sara, ganoon din ho ang magiging senaryo dyan. Hindi rin ho nila madadaya, kaya ngayon pa lang, pinapabagsak na nila. Yun hong realidad ngayong mga panahon na to. Na hindi matanggap ng mga ulupong na tauhan nitong si Marcos Jr. Kagaya nitong si Lacson at itong si Soto. Grabe itong si Ma'am dito, batang-bata pa, freshness pa siya dito. Si Ma'am Cara David. Palakpakan ho muna natin, ganda-ganda niya dyan, oh. Pangklase.
Yan, lawyer, kasi hindi siya abogado, at saka tingnan mong lengguwahe niya. Judge it for yourself since you're a UP graduate. Tama ba yan? Na ang top figure magsasalita tungkol sa katunggali niya.
Rehabilitation staff ang tinalakson ng paratang ni Senador Miriam Santiago na nagpapakalat siya ng maling impormasyon para pagtakpan si Senador Juan Ponce Enrile sa pork barrel fund scam.
Noon pa lang ho pala talaga meron ng fake news. Nagpapakalat daw di umano itong si Lacson. Sumalangit na wala na ho ang nasirang dating Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile. Kumbaga ito, wala na ho tayo dito. Tapos na ho yung pork barrel scam na yan. Na-absuelto na ho yung mga magnanakaw. Kaya move on na ho tayo dyan. Ano bang punto natin? Bakit natin ipinapakita to? Ito, ang punto ho natin dito, para malaman na sambayanan, kung meron man galaw si Lacson, sigurado ho mga kababayan, ang motibasyon ho niyan, hindi para sa kapakanan ng sambayanan. Ang motibasyon niyan, para dun sa presidente o kung sino man na pwede nilang utuin silang dalawa nitong si Soto. Ganun ho kadali yan. Anak ng towa, huwag nyo naman sabihin sa akin na hindi nyo kayang utuin nitong si Marcos Jr. Napapalusutan nga siya ng isang Yusek. Pambira, ganun ka incompetent yung mama na yan. Yusek, kaya ho siyang palusutan. Ha? Kaya itong si Lacson at itong si Soto, palong-paluho sila sa pagsuporta dito sa mama na to. Kasi Yusek nga, kaya siyang palusutan eh. Kaya ngang tumawag kay Zaldico para magpa-insert ng kung ano-ano. Okay, ha? Ika nga, for the sake of argument, pinalusutan lang. Pero imposibleng mangyari yun for the sake of argument. Para lang sa ating argumento na to, ipagpalagay na natin. Di ba? Ibang klase ho talaga tong Lacson na to. Kaya mag-ingat ho kayo dito. Kahit anong sabihin niya dyan sa Senado, tagapagbantay ng budget. Anak ng towa. Noong binabantayan ng budget, di ka umiimik. Bago election 2025, ang dami nang nagsusumigaw ng mga congressman, mga individual na nagsasabi na palsipikado ang budget. Nung naging senador ka, doon ka nag-iingay. Pinaka-corrupt na budget na nakita ko sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas. Ano ka? Baliw-baliwan lang, gano'n? Kung di ka magiging presidente, kung di ka magiging senador, di ka magiging concerned sa budget. Ano yun? Lokohan?
Think Senator Juan Ponce Enrile has a...
Ayoko na. Ang pangit na yan. Lagay ko lang dito kay Ma'am Cara David. Yan maganda. Total naitulak na natin yung ating punto de vista. Na yan si Lacson hindi pwedeng pagkatiwalaan sa kahit anumang aspeto ng pamahalaan. Diba? Pagka yan, meron siyang pinagtatanggol, mag-isip na ho kayo dyan. Diba? Nagpapansin din yan kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Hindi ho yan pinansin. Yung tipong sa lahat ng mga personalidad na nakikita kong magiging leader, ang pinaka-ika nga malupit sa mga yan si Sara Duterte. Ang aking choice para sa magiging susunod na presidente, Sara Duterte. Hindi siya pinansin ni Tatay Digo. Kaya itong support ngayong mga panahon na to, kamping-kampi ho siya kay Marcos Jr. Pabira oh. Dito na ho tayo kay Attorney Roy Rondain, interview ho niya dito kay Ma'am Pinky. Game!
Rondain. Attorney, good to have you again. Welcome to the show.
Nice to be here again.
All right, let's talk about the 3...
Tanggalin ko na ho si Ma'am Cara dito Kasi syempre itong si Ma'am Pinky, yan talaga the best. Palakpakan natin. Yan talaga ika nga, yan ang pinaka solid para kay PH Update. Palakpakan ho natin. Ika nga, matangkad, maganda, lahat na lang nasa kay matalino, hindi lutang. Diba? Siya lang ang pink na hindi lutang. Palakpakan natin. Pakaganda talaga, grabe.
Parts this series. I want to just get a little bit of a backstory on this. Did you know?
Bagay, di ba? Tatabi ako sa kanya, ha? Diba? Tikasan lang natin ng konti. Bagay, di ba? Sinasabi ko sa inyo.
About this? How long ago was this taken?
It looks like it was very current. Did I know about it? No. That's a short answer. But to be honest with you, I had a feeling that it was going to happen sometime, eventually in the near future, but I had no idea that it was happening then. That first broke out, I think, on a Thursday.
Friday.
On a Friday. I got a call and I got a text, and it said, uploading right now. So I checked, and it was ongoing. So I found out 2 seconds before you did.
How is it possible that you want Congressman Zaldico, if and when he even testifies before the Senate, or even via Zoom, that you want to be beside him, to be able to advise him on answers that he may have to, questions that he may reply to, and yet you tell me that you had no idea that the 3-part series was coming out without your consent?
Well, that wasn't testimony. That was an expose, like you said. And I can only speculate, like you, why he did it, when he did it. I can't answer that.
Did you feel that that was the right thing to do? This video?
It did not have a lot of legal impact as far as I'm concerned, as far as the cases are concerned. So I'm indifferent. In fact, no, let me change that answer. I think it was a good thing because it gave him some catharsis.
Okay. But why did they not ask for your advice? I mean, you're the only one speaking on his behalf right now, and not even to seek your advice on a 3-part series video that obviously, I'm assuming, was taken just one na hinati-hati po sa tatlo.
Well, I'm always concerned about what my clients will say because they might incriminate themselves, might make things more difficult for me. But I'm happy that in retrospect, he did not say anything that I would not have approved of anyway.
Okay.
And I keep saying this, when my witness wants to tell a story, I let the witness tell it. I don't censor, I don't dilute what they try to say, because I'm confident that they're going to be telling the truth anyway. So I'm okay with that.
Can he tell his story to me?
I think, yeah, eventually he should. I trust you. Maybe he should trust you.
Okay.
I think he can trust you.
So 3-part series.
I trust you, madam. I trust you, ha? I trust you. Sa lahat ng reporter, ito, mapagkakatiwalaan ko tong si Ma'am Pinky. Kahit pink ang damit niyan, kahit pink na pink yan, I trust you, madam. Sa ganda ni Ma'am Pinky na yan, anak ng toko, Grabe. Para ho siyang anghel. Kaya kahit na galit na ho ako sa mga pinag-uusapan nila, pag nakita ko tong si Ma'am Pinky, kahinaan ko huyang ali na yan Patangkad, ganda. Palakpakan ho natin si Ma'am Pinky. Si Ma'am Pinky na bagay mo mamandamit mo ha. Ako, pagka alam mo riniriakan ko video mo, madam. Ito sabihin ko na sa'yo, kung sakaling mapanood mo man to. Riniriakan ko yung video mo para makita lang kita. Hindi siya kung ano pa mang kadahilanan. Nagre-react ka, gusto mo lang pala makita itong si Ma'am Pinky. No? Nangyayari sa screen ko.
Attorney, is there a succeeding one that is still forthcoming?
I did hear that he said that meron pang susunod. Didn't he say that? I think he said that.
I'm not sure.
At the last part, yeah.
Okay, so meron pa.
I think so.
But not sure.
I'm sure that the story isn't complete because I know the complete story.
Wow.
And that was not complete.
Would you be able to share the rest of the story? Or
No, it's his
I can
story.
imagine it
It's his story to
come
tell.
from him.
Lawyers should never testify for a witness or for a client.
Well, but what is that? It's always sana parang buhay pa ako, to live. I am alive to tell the story. Palaging ganun
That's what got me. I think that came out in part 1. He said, marami pa akong sasabihin, sana hindi ako mapatay bago ko masabi sa inyo lahat. So sabi ko, whoa. So when I heard that, the first thing that came to mind was, oh, this guy's really scared. My client is really, really scared. Parang dead man's, di ba? Dead man's disclosure.
Okay.
So,
Pero yung boss niya itong si Attorney Ronday, ni ibang klase ho, talagang napakalalim. Pagka nagsalita siguro to sa korte, talagang kahit na medyo diskumpiyado yung huwes, pag narinig niya boses, talagang kumbinsido kagad. Mahusay na abogado to. Kung hindi man siya ang nag-suggest kay Saldico na ilabas niya yung 3-part video na yon, o kung siya man, napakalaking kudos dito kay Attorney. Dahil nga dyan siya ginawa ng kliyente mo na yan, hindi naman siguro niya gagawin yan kung wala ka rin kahit pa paano, hindi mo na enlighten ang kanyang kaisipan na sabihin mo ng katotohanan. Anak ng toko, lahat ng galit sa'yo. Maghanap ka ng kahati. Ganun ba sinabi mo, Attorney? Dapat pala ako na lang kinuha ng Attorney ni Saldico. Ito nang papayo ko sa'yo, Saldico. Anak ng toko, Saldi. Tingnan mo, sa'yo lahat ng galit. Pero hindi naman sa'yo lahat napunta ng pera. Pero kung sabihin na walang napunta sa'yo, anak ng Petrang Karapatan, baka batukan. Ganito gawin mo. Nasa'yo lahat ng galit. Hatiin mo lahat ng diniliberan mo ng pera. Yarin lamang naghati-hati sila sa pera. Dapat ngayon maghati-hati sila sa galit.
All right. There could be a part 4. Do you know who egged him? Who initiated this?
no.
Or you don't want to tell me?
I don't know. I have my suspicions, but these are not verifiable. And I'd rather not.
Okay, what about the timing, Attorney Rui? This was released, as you mentioned a while ago, Friday. That was the day of the hearing, the resumption of the hearing, headed by Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson of the Blue Ribbon Committee. In fact, while I was watching that, I found out about this video of your client. And also to add, that was 3 days before the Iglesia ni Cristo huge rally. Tell us about the timing. There are speculations and concerns about the timing.
I was personally embarrassed by the timing because I had written Senator Lacson because of the invitation. The invitation was served on me. And I wrote him. I said that client cannot come. He's undergoing medical treatments abroad. And, he's afraid and it might prejudice the cases that have already been filed. And, all of a sudden this comes out unexpected. And I said, man, this is going to make me look bad in the Senate because Senator Lacson will think that I took him for a ride. The truth is I didn't know. In fact, I also said that I was about to leave for Tokyo, for Japan. And I did leave. And everyone was saying, I flew because I was meeting with him. There was that ridiculous rumor.
Yeah. That he's in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, he's around, he's quite near the Philippines. Near enough that he can fly anytime and attend the INC rally.
And if he was in Japan, he wasn't with me. And I didn't know. So I don't think he was in Japan. And I was there with my office. It was a long planned trip.
Matagal na niyo po ito.
Yeah, I
no?
submitted my ticket to the Blue Ribbon Committee. I paid for that ticket in July.
I see. All right. Way before
Tagal
you
na.
became the lawyer of
Way before.
ex-congressman.
I'm not clairvoyant. So.
Zaldico. Okay, let me go back to that. The timing. Sabi mo nga, you're a little embarrassed because you wrote Senator Ping Lacson and basically said you were going to be away, etc., and that your client is still undergoing medical treatment.
Yeah, it looks sneaky, I know. But as to the Iglesia timing, I can't answer that.
Why
He has no connections to the Iglesia. He has no political party, so he doesn't favor any party one way or another. He's party list. Diba?
Yeah, but he doesn't favor this particular administration.
Well, obviously not. But not by choice. I think by circumstance.
He initially supported the administration.
I'm guessing that he's a lot like me. You know, I vote for a president, and whoever wins, whether or not I voted for that president, I support. Because when you vote for a president, his success is the nation's, and his failure is the nation's. So I've always supported the presidents that even I didn't vote for. I'm assuming that most Filipinos are like that. So,
Ganun naman ho talaga tayo eh. Pero lang yung mga dilawan at pinklawan. Mga Pilipino talaga nagmamahal dito sa bansa na to. Tayo ay sinuportahan natin ang presidente na yan. Maging si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, sinuportahan niya ho yung presidente na yan. Yan si Marcos Jr. Anong panawagan ni Tatay Digong noong nanalo na si Marcos Jr.? Ano na, nandyan na yan, suportahan na natin dahil lang kung sakaling pumalya yan, sambay ng Pilipino ang makukompromiso. Sinuportahan ni Tatay Digong. Anong ginawa nitong si Marcos Jr.? Pambihira. Iba ho talaga ang level ng kapal ng mukha nitong mama na to. Si Marcos Jr. Ibang level ho siya, mga kababayan.
yeah, I'm thinking that he supported this presidency initially.
I mean, surely, because he was very close to the speaker. He was the chairman of the Appropriations Committee. And
There you go,
obviously, and he said, hindi ho ba, siya ang gagawing poster boy.
Yes.
What did he say? Ako ang gagawing poster boy ng kanilang katiwalian.
Katiwalian. Kampanya sa korupsyon.
Right.
Yeah.
Kaya, ano ho ba? Ilalaglag ho ba si Zaldico? Tell us what your client told you.
Well, never mind what he told me. What does it look like now? Diba? He's the fall guy, to put it bluntly.
Why would he? What happened along the way that you can tell us? Of course, I understand that it's very limited what you can tell me, but at least try to help us understand what happened along the way. He left July 19, and apparently, according to him, he was told by the former speaker not to come home. He will be taken care of.
Yes.
And then he realized na yung taken care of pala ay gagawin siyang poster boy
Yeah.
ng korupsyon.
Fall guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened along the way? And from July 19, August, September, October, November, in 4 months, what happened? Why was there this falling out between him and the administration?
This is not something that he told me. I wouldn't tell the public anyway, even if he did know. But I'm guessing that he didn't feel taken care of. He felt that things were getting worse for him by the day, because first the investigations, and then he felt that he was being blamed. Now I can say it, because I said that he felt that he was going to be blamed, and true enough, he was blamed for this. And he feels that I didn't do anything wrong except follow instructions given to me. And I also said this, if there's anything he's guilty of, it's that lack of strength of character to resist. And, you know.
Shit, attorney naman. Oo. Yung billion yun eh. Saka kung ayaw niya talaga, di mag-resign siya sa appropriation ng mga panahon na yon. Unang salang pa lang sa appropriation, nagkakalatagan na ng pera, nagkakalokohan na. Kung ayaw ng kliyente mo, umalis na siya. Gusto rin niya. Nagtagal siya. Siya ang bumibira kay VP Sara. Okay na, attorney. Ano na kami doon? Maraming salamat na doon sa pero linisin mo ang imahe nitong si Zaldico sa mga interview mo. May pananagutan ang kliyente mo, attorney. Sa ayaw sa gusto mo, ika nga marami siyang panagutan sa sambayanan. Pero para linisin mo siya sa bawat interview mo sa mga malalapad na pahayagan, ibang usapan na yan. Di ba? Kung talagang sincero yung mga sinasabi na yan nitong si nitong si Ping. Ay, nitong si Ping tuloy. Si Pinky kasi mayat maya siya yung siya yung headline ngayong mga panahon na to. Nitong si Zaldico admit na niya, sabihin na niya kung meron siyang kabalbalang ginawa. Imposible na dadaan sa yung bilyon, pinaabot lang sa iyo. Palong-palukang makabanat kay VP Sara at kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Tapos sasabihin mo, pinadaan lang sa yung imposibleng mangyari yun. Kung hindi nagkabistuhan, pustahan tayo, best friend pa rin yung mga yan.
It happens. Sometimes we feel a superior force and we're overwhelmed by awe, by fear, whatever. And we do things against our better judgment.
You can understand, attorney, of course, that there are different feedbacks from the revelation of your client, especially when he said na he did not, well, not in these words, earn a cent. Hindi siya, wala siyang natanggap doon sa 100 billion. Just to refresh the memory of those watching us tonight, Zaldico basically was saying inutusan siya na mag-insert ng 100 billion pesos sa BICAM.
Which has been verified, by the way.
That's right, verified by Senator Ping Lacson and I think also even the Senate President. Okay. So yun po, meron na po nagsabing may in-insert na 100 billion. Pero ang sabi niya, 25% of that went to the former Speaker, Martin Romualdez, and President Bongbong Marcos, to which he delivered them in hindi. Sige, please correct me, sir.
No. He said that after the budget was approved, he asked the DPWH people. And he said, magkano ba dyan ang SOP na binibigay normally? Sabi nila, 25% yan. So he said, that means they got 25% or 250 million. He didn't deliver it personally.
25 billion out of the 100 billion.
Correct.
Yeah, 25 billion. Yeah, 250.
250,
so I do recall he said that they were delivered in North and South Forbes and even in Malacanang.
Other deliveries, not the 25, not the 200, not the 25 billion.
It was the 100 billion. Ang sabi niya po ganito, 100 billion was inserted as ordered by Secretary Mina Pangandaman, the PBM Secretary. Na ang sinabi pa niya, tinawagan niya o tinanong niya si Undersecretary Bersamin, if that was true, because nandun po sila supposedly sa meeting when that 100 billion was discussed to be inserted. And he even after that called the former speaker and asked and told him about this 100 billion insertion. And then ang sinabi daw ni speaker, what the president wants, the president gets. And then there was a 25 billion peso supposed delivery to North and South Forbes.
Oh, I don't remember that, Pinky.
All right.
Did he say there was a 25 billion peso delivery? Now, my recollection is several deliveries were made on different dates. In fact, someone noticed that deliveries were made as early as 2024. And it could not have been Palace spokesperson, Claire something.
Claire Castro.
Claire Castro. Yeah. She said, could not have been the 100 billion which was in 2025. Oo nga naman.
Because makikita, may July ata na 2024.
May January pa. 2024 yun. Itong 2025 was not delivered by him.
Okay, but let's put it let's just go to this, attorney. He said wala siyang nakuha doon.
Diyan, yes.
Dito sa 100 billion, di ho ba? That's a big question mark to a lot of people. How can, and I know we've talked about this, the burden of proof really lies with the prosecution. Yung nagbibintang dapat ang nagpapatunay nito.
Correct.
Pero pag tumataas po ang kilay ng taong bayan na wala po siyang tinanggap si dating Congressman Zaldico, is there a way to make them believe that indeed wala po siyang tinanggap?
Only if they believe in the judicial process. Diba, it's easy to make judgments about people. I have judgments about everyone in the street I see, but I don't act, I don't behave towards them on the basis of those judgments. So, I was having this discussion with my wife a few days ago, and I was saying, people want the truth, people demand the truth, but they don't like the consequences of the truth. I'll say this, They want people want the president to resign. But they say, ay, wag na lang because we'd rather not have Sara. You can't have that. You can't do that. The Constitution that we ratified says that the constitutional succession is vice president succeeds the president.
True.
We voted for the president. We voted for the vice president. We have to give way to the constitutional succession that we ratified. So, in relation to your question, how do I convince people? Let's wait for a court judgment. If you don't have faith in the judicial process, I can't help you. I can't help that because that's a system that we agreed on.
We're going to take a very short break.
Magaling nung si Atty. Ronday. Pag nagka-problema ako, Atty., ko tatawagan ko ha. Tumatanggap ka ba ng native naman? Oh, di naman kaya tumatanggap ka ng talong, mga halamang gamot. Tumatanggap ka ba nun? Wala akong 4 billion na salin kagad. Magaling na si Atty. Ronday.
The legal counsel of Zaldico, Attorney Rui Rondain. So we're talking about his revelation, the 3-part series, and obviously you are defending Zaldico because to you he is innocent.
Yes.
If he is innocent, is he willing to put this under oath, his revelations that he's done so far?
Sure. I've told him that for it to have any value to me, and to the courts, and therefore to me, it has to be under oath. Now, as to how we'll get that done, there are several ways of doing it. Everyone is saying, uwi ka, do it here.
Opo. Is that an option?
Sure, but that's not an option today. It's not an option that I prefer. But there's a deposition, letters rogatory, perpetuation of testimony, technical things.
Paano ho yun? Can you explain that to us?
Deposition abroad.
Okay. Pero pag may depositions abroad, we'll find out where he is.
Sure, because it'll be indicated there in the oath.
But he doesn't want us to know where he is. So how do you do the deposition?
Yeah, I can do it.
Pwede. Or pwede po niyang gawin sa isang bansa tapos he flies again to another country. I mean, that's obviously an option that he can take. Is it possible that he already did this under oath?
Maybe. Possible. I don't think so. I don't know. Probably not.
You would know because you're the lawyer.
If I don't know, probably not.
To this day, you're saying that it doesn't look like he's done this under oath.
I have no reason to believe that he has.
Why would he do it without your...
That's why I have no reason to believe that he has. Because why would he do it without me?
Attorney Rui, because a lot of people are saying parang wala ngang value, probative value ito dahil nga it was not taken under oath. And all these other people, hindi ho ba, pumupunta sa Senado, pumupunta sa ICI. I mean, what will prompt him, influence him, push him to actually do this under oath or even come home?
If the government can assure his safety. I heard the ombudsman saying that we will escort him from the tube and then bring him to an armored van with body cams the whole time. And then what? Where are they going to bring him? To general population detention? He's going to get shot after the first 30 minutes.
What is the scenario you're looking at that's a possibility for him to come home?
House arrest or bail. Because I can't talk about it anymore, like last week, because the cases have been filed and I don't want to get into trouble with the Sandigan Bayan. Bail will do it. Because he's afraid of...
Bail! Ang ayaw lang hong magbigay ng bail kay Zaldico, yung mga taong masasagasaan niya dito sa issue na to. Hanggat maaari, dapat makulong yan si Zaldico. Bakit? Para mapatrabaho sa kulungan yung mama na yan.
Getting killed in jail.
So he still owns the house in Valle Verde?
I think so.
He still owns the condominium in Horizon?
I don't know. I haven't seen the titles, but if the question is, have they been transferred? I don't believe so.
Yung tipong pagka minsan napapaisip tayo, paano kaya kung bigay sa atin yung isang maleta na yon, no? Kaso pagka naisip natin yung mga walang pambili ng gamot dyan sa PGH, tapos yung pera na ibinigay sa'yo, dapat pangsalba yun dun sa mga tao. Ang bigat sa damdamin, no? Pero yung mga pinklawan, dilawan, mga talyanista, ensaymada vlogger, anak ng toka, meron kaya kasi lang ganong klaseng yung konsensya sa puso na, anak ng toka, Siguro pagka sa kanila mo binigay yung isang maleta na yan, swerte sila kung merong maghahati-hati. Baka kung sino makatanggap dyan, pantakin mo sa loob daw ho ng PCO. Di umano, kaya natanggal yan si J. Rose. Di umano, may 50 milyones na wala sa vault. Hindi rin report kasi maraming question and answer portion dyan eh. Di ba? Merong 50 million sa vault. Para saan yan? Pambayad daw ho yun sa mga vlogger. Saan galing ang tanong? Di ba? Yung tipong ang daming pera niyan. 50 million isang maleta. Ibibigay sa isang individual o nahulog sa daan. Kahit sabihin mong maleta yan, may 50 milyones, alam mo pinag-uusapan dito puro kaperahan. Kung ikaw may konsensya, mapapaisip ka eh. Pambihira. Kung kukunin ko to yung mga kababayan natin sa PGH na may cancer na naghahanap ng gamot, baka ito yung perang pambili ng gamot para sa kanila. Diba? Kahit alam naman natin pagka sinuuli mo yan, nanakawin din naman eh. Pero yung konsensya mo na pagka kinuha ko to, naku, kawawa yung mga kababayan natin na mawawalan ng pagkakataong magkaroon ng mga dekalidad na gamot eh. 50 milyones nasa maleta, mahuhulog sa daan. Kahit hindi mo alam na galing yan sa flood control. Damirpak na napakalaking pera, imposibleng mahulog yan na nasa loob ng maleta. Alam mong may katiwalian. Yung mapapaisip ko, kukunin ko ba to? Isusuoli ko. Automatic suoli ka agad eh. Pero yung mga talyanista, kahit ibigay na sa kanila yan, alam na nilang galing sa nakaw, kukunin pa rin ng mga walang yun. Diba? Ganyan o sila katitindi. Kaya wala tayong respeto sa mga vlogger nila. Anak ng toko, nagsitabaan na lang. Habang yung mga Duterte supporter vlogger, nagpapayatan, sila nagtatabaan. Okay lang na walang makain, okay lang na nagpapayatan, di ba? Huwag lang yung tipong, grabe ho sila mga kababayan. Alam na nilang mayroong problema ang kanilang sinusuportahan. Todo suporta pa rin ho sila dito sa bangag administration. Kakalungkot.
So there could be two options: house arrest or
which I will fight for tooth and nail, by the way.
That will be, of course, up to the judge.
Absolutely.
But can he be tried? Yeah, obviously, he can be tried even in abstention with you just representing him.
No, after he's arraigned, the court has to acquire jurisdiction over his person, and that can only be done by arraigning him in person. After that, he can be tried in absentia.
Right. And trying him in absentia would mean what to your client? Would that be a harder case to win?
I'd be more comfortable if he testified in his own behalf. I'm not comfortable normally just leaving the prosecution to do their worst and for me just laying back and say, you haven't proven a thing. So to some extent, I'd like the opportunity to prove my client's innocence. So yes, harder to win for me if he doesn't testify.
So the fact that the Ombudsman Remulla was saying that...
Sorry, Pinky, let me interrupt you. But when I say testify, I don't mean testifying in court. Again, he can testify here or there.
Yeah. Attorney Rui, yung pong sinabi ni Ombudsman na pwede siya bumalik dito. As I mentioned a while ago, we will secure him. Kasi kung may mangyari sa kanya, kami pa ang pagbibintangan. Hindi ho ba?
Yeah.
Is that still suspicious for you? Or concerning? Let me change the word.
Yeah. It doesn't assuage my fears. Kami bahala sa'yo, and then what? If he gets killed, if he gets shot, they'll say, oops, I was wrong, sorry, I tried my best. What can I do? I'm only human. In the meantime, I'm going to have a dead client.
What do you say?
Who I believe is innocent, by the way. So I'm going to have a dead, innocent client. That's my problem with the proposition.
What makes him innocent, Attorney Rui?
Yeah. He's telling the truth. I've seen the evidence. And the evidence
what is the evidence? So far, he's shown us a list of projects doon po sa 100 billion, di ho ba? That's one. To which Senator Ping Lacson said it appears legit and true, right?
First, he said it was illogical. And then he said, ay, totoo pala.
And then the second are rather the photos that he sent that form part of his revelation, the three-part revelation. Tell us more.
Some photos.
Some. Yeah. What does that prove, number one? I mean, there are suitcases lined up.
Sure.
Is there anything there that you can add that will make the people believe that, number one, sa kanya galing yun, or ipapadala niya, o may laman yung mga... what else can be said about those suitcases?
Well, he did say that he has receipts. showing that, proving that, resibo, signed, proving that money was received from one side to the other. But let's give him a chance to disclose that. I don't want to get ahead of him.
These photos, if you can just take a look at them, does that car look familiar to you? Looks like a... Siguro if we can pause, yan po. It looks like a sports car. Can you pause that, please? Yan. Na may conduction sticker pa.
Yan.
Is that his car?
I don't know. I can't even identify the car.
Did he even mention why the suitcases have those ribbons? Anything you can tell us about the suitcases?
No, I didn't ask him. Because I was aghast when I saw it. He did say that these are the suitcases delivered to Forbes, did he not?
Okay.
Or to the palace, I'm not sure.
May ano pa dun, no? Di ba? That price? Did you see that?
Yeah, it says...
$1,499. Bagong bili? Parang bagong bili, attorney. Is that a Maserati? Does he have a Maserati, sir?
I don't know.
Maybe you can ask him a silver or gray Maserati. Because whose... Or is this... what location is this?
He alluded to Forbes. North and South Forbes. So I'm guessing that, that matches the allusion.
All right. So, let's move on. Yung sinasabi niya pong meron siyang pangalan, meron akong resibo, meron pa ba kaming maaasahan sa kanya na karagdagang resibo?
Yeah, he did say marami pang iba. At the ending of part 3, I'm almost sure, he did say marami pang iba, pakihintay lang ho. I know he has receipts.
But what receipts? What were journals? What are they? Photos?
No, signed receipts. I
Talagang
delivered.
may tumanggap?
Yeah, I delivered 1 peso on this date. Signed by, I don't know, Doña Ineng.
Pasensya na ho kayo. Uso pa ba talaga yung mga taong tumatanggap at nagsasign? But that's really incriminating yourself.
But if you're talking about 1 billion pesos, I'd sign a receipt. I'd want a receipt.
Or is it signed by supposedly yung mga tao nila? I mean, where are the two close aides supposed to be of Zaldico, former Congressman Zaldico?
Delivered, diba? To Forbes and the Palace, I think they delivered out. So the receipts would not be signed by them. But the receipts, I'm sure, are incriminating enough. Sorry, the receipts are conclusive, not just incriminating.
But who delivered it? Was it Mark Teksayan,
yes.
John Paul Estrada?
And he also said Orly Gutesa, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
But Orly Gutesa also said, sir, that he delivered money sa bahay ni Zaldico, I think sa Horizon, inakyat ang 48 na maleta, pagbaba 36 na lang.
Okay.
So may tinanggap siya. Was it your idea also to tell him that basically sabihin na wala siyang tinanggap? Pasensya na ho kayo, I'll be very blunt.
No.
Na magsinungaling, na wala siya, wag niya sabihin, ganito na po, wag niya sabihin tumanggap siya so that it does not incriminate him in any way.
No. It violates a fundamental rule that I have in litigation. Don't let the witness lie, because a lie is supported by another lie, by another lie, by another lie, by another lie. By the time you get to the first lie, nakalimutan mo na yun.
Okay,
so you remove a card, that's it.
Let's change the word. Hindi po lie, omit.
Omit that he didn't receive anything? No. That's a positive statement.
Okay.
So, no, I didn't tell him. Like I said, I don't try to modify my witnesses' statements. Mahirap.
But you always said that hindi ho siya masyadong magaling magpaliwanag. He's not very articulate. So I can imagine.
Naniniwala ko tayo dyan. Nakita natin yan noong appropriation chairperson siya. Hindi siya ganun kagaling magsalita. Kailangan nagsasalita dyan itong kanyang vice appropriation chairperson, yang si Estela Quimbo. Pagka meron kailangan paliwanag, Estela Quimbo. Pagka magsasalita dyan sa appropriation committee, Estela Quimbo. Siya, ano lang siya, para siyang shadow lang siya doon. Pagka magbubukas ang hearing, doon lang siya magsasalita. Pero the rest ng hearing, mga congressman lang nakatabi niya magsasalita doon.
Imagine that you would probably somehow modify also or kind of teach.
Actually, if I had a hand in it, presentation would have been more chronological, would have been more logical.
This one?
Yeah.
Yung sa 3-part series?
Yeah, yung 1, 2, 3. I would have started with 23, 24, 25. I wouldn't have started with 25 then jump back to 24. If I had a hand.
ibig sabihin ho, malamang sa malamang nakita na nitong si Atty. Rondain yung mga kabalbalan from 2023. Hindi lang ho yan 2024 kabalbalan ha. 2023 pa lang ho mga kababayan, pinagnanakawan na ho nila ang sambayanan.
And in it.
Okay,
Diba?
very quickly, because we've run out of time, makakalimutan ko lang po ito. Yung sinabi po ni Congressman Zaldico na 100 billion in-insert
Ganda ni Ma'am Pinky.
at 25% ay supposed to be napunta kay Pangulo at kay former Speaker Martin Romualdez para clear po. Sinabi na po ni Yusek Bernardo na sandali lang, that's impossible because out of that 100 billion, sabi po ni Yusek Bernardo, according to Senator Ping Lacson, he handled 80 out of the 80. Let me say this again. Out of that 100 billion, 82 billion went to the DPWH, and another 18 billion went to other agencies.
Okay.
Out of that 82 billion, Yusek Bernardo supposedly handled 52 billion out of the 82 billion.
Okay.
Okay. And then he went on further to say that he delivered 16% of that 52 billion to Yusek Trigiv.
Okay.
Okay. So
Education.
that basically disputes the story of Zaldico. Just kindly respond to that, sir.
No, because my client never said that he delivered the 25 billion from the 100. He said that after the budget was approved in 2025, he asked the DPWH guys what the standard for the SOP was, and they said 25%. So he said, ganun pala. So that means 25% yun napunta sa kanila.
So, para clear,
225
hindi po
billion.
niya sinasabi doon sa 100 billion na in-insert ay 25 billion doon sa 100 billion ay siya nagdala at napunta kay Pangulo and Speaker.
I reviewed the video again because I was alarmed
So he was saying in total, you know, if you look at the budget or the SOP, 25% would have gone to the president.
Would have gone to them.
And because may 100 billion na insertion, he surmised that 25% of that should have gone. That's what he's saying.
Yes.
All right.
So no conflict kay Yusek Bernardo.
Got it. We're gonna have
Ayun na nga, Ping, malinaw ha, malinaw. Malinaw na ika nga, walang conflict doon sa testimonya ni Bernardo, yung testimonya nitong si Zaldico. Bottom line dito, ang nagpa-insert si Marcos Jr. Napag-utusan si Pangandaman at itong kinumpirma naman itong ang pangalan to, itong si Liaison na to, si Adrian Bersamina. So always, maraming salamat to sa pag-support sa PH Update. Mag-ingat ho lahat. Mahal natin Pilipinas. Ako, panibagong problema na naman ni Ping Lacson ito, panigurado. Sakit sa ulo nitong si Ping Lacson, ng abogado nitong si Zaldico, sa totoo lang. Lahat ng argumento nitong si Lacson sa pagtatanggol kay Marcos Jr., lahat to nawawasak nitong si Atty. Rondain. Napakahabang eksplanasyon sa Senado, isang buka lang ng bunganga nitong si Rondain, basag itong si Lacson.